basically I got an '09 Kawasaki 650R Ninja. The factory windshield was fine, but when I was riding, it was just blasting me square in the chest and all over my helmet, and it literally made the ride so insanely loud. Even with the earplugs and my $600 Arai helmet, it was still, it was deafening, and I'd get out off of a ride, I couldn't hear anything for about a half an hour or more, so I opted for the zero gravity touring windscreen. I tried doing research on it. I got a lot of positives about zero gravity. There wasn't a whole lot of information out there about the sport touring windscreen, which is what I bought. As you see, it's quite a bit larger. I'd say that's probably a good 3 inches taller. Slightly different angle to hopefully blow it around, up at least at my helmet instead of square at my chest. Said I haven't seen very many videos about this, at least on a 650R Ninja. I found some on the Triumph Tigers and like a GSXR, stuff like that, but nothing really on this. And all the forums that I'm on with on the Kawasaki forum, a lot of people were commenting, oh yeah, it's a great windscreen, but yet there's no, I couldn't get a whole lot of information on the sport touring, so this is why I'm doing the video. Maybe help somebody else out make the decision. The double bubble was a little shorter, it looked cooler, but if I'm going to be riding 120, 130 miles a day round trip to work and back, I wanted to have something to quiet down the ride some, get the wind off of my chest, especially during like in the late in the year, fall, with all that wind blowing straight at my chest. It made it insanely cold, so hopefully this will help redirect the airflow so it makes it a little bit more of a comfortable ride. So I mean, the installation seems pretty easy and straightforward. There's only 4 screws holding it on. So I mean, without boring you through all the details of working the screws, so there's only 4 screws on here. Each of the screw has a plastic washer under it, so you just keep everything together. So hopefully, this might help somebody out there, help them make the decision on which windscreen to go with, either the double bubble or the sport touring. Said appearance really doesn't matter to me. I'm more about comfort. So we'll just go ahead and start with the installation here. And just make sure you hang on to the plastic washers. It helps keep it from scratching the windscreen. But said it looks pretty easy, straightforward, simple. I mean, there weren't any real instructions that came with the windscreen, which also happens to be made in the USA. So that's great. That helping support the economy. I bought mine off of eBay through ZG Outlet. I can give you guys the link on in the description of the movie or the video. So if you go to Zero Gravity's website, the windscreen was like $95, but with the ZG Outlet it was $59. And it's still the same windscreen, same packaging and everything, but I saved 30-40 bucks. It did come from California, but I still ended up getting it in probably about 3 or 4 days. Came UPS in a huge box that was like serious overkill for the windscreen, but hey, that's great. Shipping wasn't too bad, and the time frame was pretty easy. So there you go, 4 screws, the windscreen's off. As you see the size difference here between the two, I mean, there's quite a bit of difference, and it does look like it's at a different angle. So so let's go ahead and throw it back on here. I mean, I didn't clean it, but this is just to give you guys an example of how everything goes back together. So I think it's probably gonna be like, what, a 3 or 4 minute job, if that. So just tighten it up. So I keep the plastic washers on there, line it up. It's got the rubber well nuts underneath, or that are still attached into the fairing. You just screw it back down, and said it looks to have a really good fit. I went with the clear because I mean, you know, granted, I don't ever look through the thing, but you know, I got a knockoff GoPro. It's an Emerson brand. So there's the mount, or the plastic case it came in. I bought it at Big Lots, and it was like 35-40 bucks. You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you know, so if I do lose it, falls off, whatever, who cares? I'm not out a whole lot. You know, if a GoPro dumps off your bike at 70 miles an hour, you know, that's gonna suck. So I just went cheap. It's decent, and that the suction cup mount was like 10 bucks off of Amazon. That's a Polaroid brand. So see, here we are. Everything's installed. It's a nice fit. I just need to snug up a few of the screws, so we'll see what happens. I'll take it out for a ride here after a little while. Okay, so it's finally installed here. It does have specific cleaning instructions on the front on the sticker here. You know, clean it with mild soap and water, or you know, of course, they're going to plug their product, the zero gravity one-step cleaner and polish. But you know, usually just use a microfiber towel and water. You know, that just seems to work fine. Just sitting on the bike right off the bat, you can definitely tell that the thing's a lot taller. You know, further out from the dashboard, sitting more upright. I mean, just by sitting here looking at it, I can definitely tell it's going to blow it up, at least maybe hit me on the top of the helmet. I mean, the optical clarity on this thing is really good. So that's why I went clear, so I can at least use, you know, still record my riding. But it said installation was pretty straightforward. It definitely does look a bit thinner than the stock, so it's got a little bit more of a flex to it. Plus the factory one had the kind of like a beveled edge, or you know, a strengthening rib. But as you see, there's good clearance between the handlebars, you know, and the windscreen. So I'm pushing 6 foot tall. Everybody else I've been watching and reading about, they're all like, oh, I'm 5'9", and you know, it hits me here. Well, I'm pushing 6 foot. So you know, what about the taller riders? You know, if you're 5.5 foot tall, you know, a shorter windscreen will you know, direct the air up and over you. But when, you know, I'm 6 foot tall, I'm a big billboard sitting on this thing, so everything is going to blast me in the chest. So so it said installation was pretty easy. Looked like the factory one had a slight tint to it. That's what was on it when I bought it. So all right, well, let's go for a ride. Okay, I just came back from about a 50-mile ride, ranging from, you know, local 30 to 40 mile an hour, and then I jumped on the interstate and rode that for a while. So I'd say 90% highway, 10%, you know, around town. At highway speeds, I noticed a difference to where originally with the stock screen, it would blast me probably about here. So I said, like in the colder weather, you know, October, November type of thing, it'd be freezing. I'd have to really bundle up. On this one here, with the new touring screen, the air primarily hit me like right in the shoulders and about the base of the neck, or the Adam's apple. So it definitely got it off of my chest, but it didn't do anything for removing any of the wind noise in my helmet. It was a lot more comfortable, I admit that. It did redirect the air like it was supposed to, but it didn't do much for the wind noise. What I did find out is, as I was riding, I could scrunch my shoulders up to block the air from around the bottom of my helmet, you know, right around in here. The volume of the noise would go down significantly. So I'm thinking maybe to reduce the wind noise, to get that, there's some like neoprene shield or something that goes around here. I saw that online somewhere. But all in all, the buffeting was minimal. I did notice when I turned my head, it kind of, you know, pulled my head a little bit. Not as bad as it did when they had the stock screen on it. So it said, all in all, it was more of a comfortable ride. I did notice at highway speeds and slightly in the excess of, it did flex a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't wobbling all over the place. So it was fairly sturdy for the most part. Of course, not as solid as the stock screen because it's a lot thicker plastic and it has that rib for reinforcing, and it's not sticking straight up in the air. So all in all, I'm pleased with the purchase. It did definitely get the wind off of my chest, which was one of the goals I wanted to try. But it said it didn't really do much for the wind noise. It did drop it down some, but not to the extent of what I was hoping for. So hopefully this might help you make a little better decision. As I said, I'm pushing 6 foot tall. If someone's shorter, it'll probably move. You know, the shorter you are, the cutoff on the wind is going to be different. So hopefully, this helps somebody out there somewhere. So thanks for watching my video.